And welcome to the first official day of Amonkhet spoilers. Sorry if my hair's a little iffy. I only got out of the shower maybe 15 minutes ago. And we got all the mechanics. We've got one of the gods. We even got two of the Planeswalker decks Planeswalkers. Or the Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers, Gideon and Liliana. So, now, I'm going to do my best to, show the card with my phone. However, MTVG Salvation's where I normally go to do this. Recently, like literally today, changed the format of their site, so I have to unfortunately go to the actual gallery for it. But otherwise, I should be able to as soon as the damn page fully uploads. And I just went. Oh man, this is gonna be fun today, folks. We're going to be trying a whole bunch of new stuff. So anyway, but let's talk about one of the official ones. Let's talk about the one that I headlined the episode with, and that's our first actual god of Amonkhet. Now, the first actual god of Amonkhet we get reveals that they are all going to be monocolor gods. It is the red god. We have Hazoret the Fervent, which she's also known as Hazoret, god of the zeal, which is what her trial is. So, no. There we go. Oh, darn it all. Okay, get back up there. So, yeah, she's the god that does the trial of the zeal. And 1 second, where is she on here? There we go. Hazoret. And we get this very lovely. The art in this set looks amazing. So we get this very lovely art of her. She's gorgeous looking, and what she is capable. She is. They did. Rosewater actually did a whole article when introducing this card about what they wanted to take away from the Theros gods and to bring to the Amonkhet gods, but make them different enough. So like they couldn't be enchantment creatures, and devotion was not coming back. But what are we gonna have? Well, we have low mana cost for what we're getting. We have a 5/4 creature god for 3 of any color, 1 red. So for 4 mana, maybe less if you got if you got some mono ramp going on. Indestructible is another thing they wanted to bring back. That seemed like a given. And haste. So if you play this card at the right time, you can immediately just attack in with her. Now she can't attack or block. They are automatically creatures no matter what, so they can count for enchanting them and all that, meaning that you bring them on the field. Unlike the gods, which aren't always creatures from Theros. These gods are always creatures. But you cannot attack or block unless you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand. She also has the ability. They wanted to go with a static, the activated ability. Not necessarily. There's a static and an activated one, like a keyword ability, in this case haste, and the activated ability to obviously help trigger them to actually be able to attack and block. And that is pay 2 and 1 red, discard a card, deals 2 damage to each opponent. So, one thing right off the bat, for a commander play, like multiplayer games, this card will be fantastic because if you got too much land here, especially like in Commander, when you're gonna have that much land on call and you have too many cards in your hand, and you got this card in the field, or you play this card, let's say you got 3 other cards, you need to get rid of 2, you got more than enough mana, burn 2 of them, deal 4 damage across the board, and then swing in for 5 haste, indestructible. This is not a hard card to play. Now, granted, I can't wait to see what the other cards' restriction costs are, but as it stands, I really like the design of this card. I doubt the rest of the cards are going to have the same condition where you have to have 1 or fewer cards. I think they're all going to be different, basically, and all tie in with their color theme. Like the blue one's probably going to deal something with maybe drawing cards or spells in a graveyard. The green god's probably going to have to do with some creatures' power or toughness. White one might do with the amount of life you have. Black one might do with how much life you have, but different. Or how many cards are in the opponent's hand. So, overall, I've seen a lot of people kind of giving it a little, some hate, I suppose, but not all huge amount of hate. Just kind of they're not as impressed with, say, like with the Theros ones. But we probably got spoiled with the Theros ones. What are you gonna do? It's still awesome. So I dig this card a lot. I think it's going to make a lot of headway. I think it's going to make a good splash in the formats. Limited, it's going to be a bomb. Sealed is going to be a bomb. The next one is Anointer Priest, which has Embalm. And there we go. They'll like they always do, they'll do the article when we get close to the actual set release and the pre-release, where we actually see what all the tokens look like for these guys. We're gonna have a lot of mummies. But this is it's not a bear, it's a 1/3, 1 white, 1 of any color, which on its own is fair, it's fine. Whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Now, depending on how much token generation you got in this set, and obviously the embalmed creatures are a lot of token generation, but there's more token generation beyond that than just probably the embalm. I'm certain there's other cards that have token generation. So I don't know how good this card's going to be. And like in an actual deck building, like casual, like making an actual token deck, I love this card. I would play with this immensely in some of my token decks. But in terms of again, I think I have to think in terms of the pre-release. You might get, I mean, you could play multiple copies of this too, which is good. But you might get, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 or 4 times to use this ability. It's really not that good. It's got the recursion like other ones, but they're just from like I think the 3 embalm cards we have seen so far with recursion on them. We've got far better ones to choose from than this. So this is, you got to make bad cards to appreciate the good cards. This isn't necessarily a bad card, but it's a very lackluster card. Then we have next In Aketra's Name. Now this is more kind of the Anthem instant effect, kind of like oh god, what is it? So there's the great artwork. Love that artwork. It's, mummies and stuff. I can't wait to see some jackal mummies too. Actually, we technically have those. But it's basically a 1 white, 1 of any color. Zombies you control get +1 +2 +1. Other creatures just get +1 +1. So it's a very standard combat trick, very standard kind of Anthem ability, instant Anthem ability. And if you control zombies, which you probably are going to in this set, and it's a set is introducing the white zombie with the embalm effect, then you might get some effect out of it. It could work. Then we have a next exert card. We have where are you? What's here? There it is. Now let me see if I can get this in. And hold on one second. Want to go outside? Luckily it's very nice outside. I have no qualms just keeping the door open for. We have Crop Crasher. Now again, a Minotaur. Minotaurs were not a creature type I was expecting. And I love that. That's just very. I'm trying to figure out the movie that, like a movie that kind of reminds me of too. It's very. Actually, you know what? Honestly, because I was thinking about it a little earlier yesterday. Constantine. If you remember some of the color schemes in Constantine, I kind of get a Constantine vibe out of that. But it's weird, huh? But anyway, I might just adjust this on a bit more in the frame. Now it's another inert card, or excuse me, not inert, exert. So it's a 3/2 for 3, 1 red, 2 of any color, with haste, standard decent card. If you exert it, target creatures can't block this turn. Target creature can't block this turn. So it's got a pseudo unblockable ability, but it can't untap the next turn. Now, if you play this early and they have 1, maybe 2 creatures, then yeah, I can see where this would be good. If it's late game, you can put, like, if you suddenly throw down maybe like 2 of these, could be good. It's all good. Cards like this are very dependent on the board state at the time. Because if they have any real amount of blockers, then they're not that good. But I mean, as it stands as a standard card, a 3/2 haste for 3, that's a perfectly fine card on its own. It's just it has a little extra boost with the unblockable. So it's a good card for what it's worth. I'm going to be interested to see what the Mythic Exert creature is going to look like, and the Mythic Bomb creature is going to look like. Now, with the gods, they have their trials. And with the trial of the gods, we have both Cartouche. I think it's Cartouche, which is basically like our enchantment, like auras actually have the title. I'm going to say Cartouche. Not Card Touch, but Cartouche. I'm going to say that. Basically, they're like basically medals for completing your trial. So Cartouche's Solidarity is one. I'm going to talk about these cards in conjunction because they go together. And the trials themselves are uncommon enchantments as well. So we'll talk about the trial first. The trial that we got spoiled was the Trial of Knowledge, which is the trial of the Blue God, which unfortunately do not give us the Blue God's name. We do get names for Ketros, the White God, and two other cards, two other gods. So there that is. There's the Ibis God. There's a giant snake person, which I love. I love me my reptile people. They're so awesome. I can't wait for like some rares and mythics. And who knows? Oh, I want a planeswalker. I want a planeswalker snake person or crocodile person. Give me that. Anyway, Trial of Knowledge is a enchantment for 1 blue and 3 of any color. Whatever, it seems all right. Now, when it enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards and discard a card. So basically, it's a draw 2. It's a draw 2, and you're going to lose 1. Or it's a draw 3, you're going to lose 1. So you're more or less getting 2 cards and losing a card. But given the fact that the split cards were confirmed, or embalm cards, that's not really a bad thing in this kind of set. So you're going to play it oftentimes as a draw 2 spell. But when a cartouche, I'm pronouncing cartouche, enters the battlefield under your control, return the Trial of Knowledge to your owner's hand, which I'm going to assume is going to be the same for every trial, because, it's going to be multiple people with multiple cartouches. Cartouches. And then the cartouche's Solidarity. One second. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there we go. And, again, beautiful art. It's like, it's kind of got a scarab-like look to it. But at the same time, it's for white, so it might be... you see the god herself, like, blessing some people. Great looking. It's a simple aura enchantment. 1 white, enchant creature you control. Creature gets +1/+1, has first strike, and you get to put a 1/1... Wow, 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance in the battlefield. I didn't actually really fully read the card. That's a lot of effects for 1 mana. I can't imagine all the cartouches, again, cartouches are going to be the same. Like, some might be more expensive than others, but if they all are, relatively cheap for their cost. For 1 mana, you get an extra guy, you pump someone and give it first strike. That is not terrible. That's actually fairly decent for that for 1 mana. I'd play that card in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? If I'm in white, I play that card. And then you play it, and maybe you and there's got to be something that's going to return your cartouches to your hand too. So maybe you could replay those over and over again. But no, I'm interested in what the other trials are. The trial itself looks like it's going to be a decent card. That looks actually like a surprisingly decent card. Then we move on to crocodiles. Oh yeah, we got crocodiles. Now this is where we get the name of another god. The god of zeal and god of the trial of zeal, trial of ambition. That's not their Hazoret is actually known as the god of zeal, but she's the fervent. So zeal must be they must be known by the people for what their trial is. Anyway, we have Crocodile of the Crossing, which apparently takes place during the Trial of Strength, which is the god Romos is trial. Now, then there's that is like some sci-fi like Dino Croc shit right there. That is awesome looking. Now, that being said, in terms of how good the card is, it's a 5/4, 1 mana green. 1 green mana, 3 of any colors, or 4. So 5/4 for 4, right there. That's pretty solid. Haste, also good. Don't see that on Gritty much. When it enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 creature on target creature you control. Now, that's the only real catch-22, which means you're either going to be putting a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control or another creature or this. So if you put it on this, it comes as a 4/3 with haste for 4. That's still on its own really good. But if we have embalm creatures out in the field, let's say, I'm just going to put on my bomb guy. He's going to be dead this turn anyway, so... Sorry, because the door's open, I could see a crocodile. I didn't know if that was my dad or not coming back in. I'm like, going to ruin the video, Dad. But no, overall, no, it's a pretty solid card. Even if you put the -1 counter on 8, you're getting a 4/3 for 4. That's value. So there's a reason this card's uncommon. So yeah, I dig this card. Crocodiles are awesome. I think it definitely will be a big player in like the pre-release and the limited staples formats. Now that being said, we have our second split card. Where are you? There we go. So we had Dusk and Dawn. Now we have Destined and Lead. So. And yeah, they decided to do something really weird with the split cards in this set. I mean, don't get me wrong. In what you are limiting your artwork, but in another sense, that top one gives it almost a very cinematic feel, doesn't it? Like that, doesn't that look like something like, because you look at a movie screen, it's a big widescreen. Doesn't it feel a little cinematic? I kind of get a cinematic vibe from that. But anyway, the part you can always play, Destin, is a 1 black, one of any color instant, 2 mana. Target creature gets +1 +0 and gains indestructible to the end turn. Very standard effect, very alright. Creature will live for an extra turn, basically. Then Lead, you can only, Aftermath is what it's actually called. Cast it only from your graveyard. And basically it's a sorcery. I'm pretty certain you can only do sorcery speed, because that's what it looks like. 1 green, 3 of any color. All creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. Now, if you're able to activate both of them, which I assume is kind of the thing, that if you got the mana, you can activate them both, then great. Fantastic. But seeing as this doesn't give Death Touch, save that for something that basically has Death Touch, or First Strike and Death Touch. So, yeah, save it for that, because otherwise, yeah, or Indestructible Death Touch, that'd be great. Or, Destroy After Block kind of thing. Overall, it's alright. I like the white one better, Dusk and Dawn. I like that one better. I think that's going to be more useful. Then we have Nest of Scarabs, which gives us the name of the other god, which I'm going to assume is the Black God. Now, here's the thing about this. First off, Bantu, God of Ambition, is the name of the Black God. They are small, but they always want more. Learn from them. Now, this is a enchantment. It is 2 of any color, 1 black. Whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create that many 1/1 black insect creature tokens. That is a horrifying imaging concept. Let me see if I can angle that up. You know what it is? I just realized that reflection off my phone is from the door. So let me close that now. Hold on. Ooh, that's better. So there, yeah, kind of creepy, isn't it? It does remind me a bit of some of the Shadowmoor Eventide stuff. But, and it seems like, because from what we can see, there's no mechanic in the set that's actually going to be putting -1/-1 counters on cards. So there's as far as, at least not in this set, maybe the next one, there is no Persist, there is no Weather, there is no Infect. So, but -1/-1 counters are going to be a thing. So how are we going to go about doing that? Not quite certain how. What I am certain about is Cycle is back, and we have 2 cards that illustrate that. We have Limits of Solidarity, which gain control of target creature until the end of turn. Untap it, it gains haste. It's a standard kind of threat or control ability, kind of like Active Treason, just a bit more expensive. You get this cool artwork though, where these 2 jackals fighting, and then you get Cycle for 2, which you discard this card, draw a card. And then again, that's where we get Hazoret of God of Zeal as the name of the blood god for them. Card's fine. More likely you're going to use it for its cycle than you're going to use it for its takeaway ability. But then again, sometimes you will probably use it for its takeaway ability. Then we have Flameblade Adept, 1 red mana, uncommon, 1/2 menace. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, Flameblade Adept gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. So this guy, this is a check. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a female jackal. It's just got a bit more feminine appearance, slightly. Who cares really about that? Man or woman, it's a card. Don't get me wrong, I love more female representation on a card because equal rights and all that. But in the end of the day, it's a fictional character, and it's a jackal to boot. But it's a menace right off the bat. 1/2 with menace for 1 is all right. Then you get cycle in, and every time you cycle or discard a card. So you can't get cycle and discard a card. That being said, do it multiple times a turn, especially with the god that we have. Let's say you do that 2 times to get yourself down to the 1 mana with the Hazoret, the God of Zeal. And, she can attack now. Plus, you've already discarded twice, so you've done 4 damage to your opponent. And this turns it into a 3/2 with menace. Yeah, you can see where this would get kind of ridiculous pretty fast. So overall, I dig that card immensely. Now, one thing I do want to go over real quick. We got 3 other cards to go over, and then we'll be done because this video is starting to get real long. One one thing I want to talk about was Bantu, God of Ambition, and what was the name of the crocodile again? Ronas. Now, you would think that Ronas is the god of, being the god of strength, would be the crocodile god, because we got a crocodile on here. And that very much makes sense. But that would, in theory, imply that he's the green god, given the fact that we have the green here, and that Bantu is the god of ambition, would be the snake. And given what we have here, would be black. And for what it's worth, I'm going to have to go with that right now. But the problem with that is, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, because the art kind of led itself to make us believe that the snake with the glowing green eyes was a green card, and the crocodile was either a red or a black card. But these two cards seem to be implying something else. I can't be certain on that. All I know is we'll have to wait and see when those cards get spoiled, which I can't wait for. I can't wait for all the spoilers, plus all of our actual planeswalkers and things along those lines. Last actual card that got spoiled today so far, Dejiru's Resolve. Now, this card's only been roughly translated, but one white, instant, untapped target creature, prevent all damage that be dealt this turn, which is a great way to basically counter your inert, or excuse me, exert. I keep saying inert, because it technically becomes inert. It's a great way to counter your exert ability after you use it. So this I can definitely see being a good combat trick when you exert, like, say, Glorybringer. It's like, I'm going to do 4 damage to this, untap it with this, no damage dealt. I'm going to do that again. So, yeah, I can see that. But then you can cycle it also for the 2. So if you can't use it, then, whatever. So that's pretty much all the official cards we got today. But we also pretty much got the confirmation of our Planeswalker decks Planeswalkers. Now, these are, again, to always preface it, Planeswalker decks Planeswalkers. These are not the Planeswalkers that will be in the actual set. Like the Gideon and Liliana we have here are not the Gideon and Liliana that are going to show up in the set. Let's see here now. There we go. So, but we have Liliana, I believe it's Deathbringer, or Death Wielder, and we have Gideon Marshall's Paragon. Now, we don't know the actual loyalty of these cards yet, but we do know that the Liliana is 5 of any color, 2 black mana, 7 altogether, and Gideon is 1 white and 4 mana, 5 altogether. So, Liliana is a +2, +1/+1 counter up on 1 target creature. -3 to destroy a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it. And then now -10, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. If I were to just go on a limb, it's probably going to have about 5 loyalty. That seems 5, maybe 6. Maybe. I wouldn't go any higher than that, though. As it stands, for 7 mana, obviously the deck is going to deal with -1/-1 counters, because you don't have a -3 like that on a 7 mana card, would not be able to use it immediately. And then you have the +2. See, that's the problem. I can't say I like this. I don't like black cards. They're my least favorite cards, but I can find black cards I actually like. I can't say I like this one. As a Planeswalker, this is kind of bad. This is a bad Planeswalker, because what's the only thing you're guaranteed to be able to do? Going to put a -1/-1 counter on something. Great. And then next turn I can destroy it, assuming I'm not dead from, like, spells or whatever. And then you gotta wait, you get up to 10 to return all creature cards from your graveyard, which is a great effect, but you gotta wait that long to do it? That sucks. I am sorry, that sucks. Moving on, Gideon's Marshall Paragon. Okay, +2, untap creature you control. They get -1/-1 until, or excuse me, +1/+1 until the end of turn. Pretty good. It's basically, it's actually an ability you can actually attack with everything, then on tap, and then do that. So actually, that's a pretty good card. Then you have the 0, which turns Gideon into a creature. 0, Gideon becomes a 5/5 human soldier with indestructible that's still a planeswalker. Prevent all damage that will be dealt to him this turn. Ability that Gideon usually seems to have throughout the entire thing. Pretty solid card effect for Gideon. And then you got the plus 10, another plus 10, which I'm going to again assume that he has a 5 loyalty to make it, you got to work for it. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until the end turn. Tap all creatures your opponent controls. So this is a big finisher move. I like it. Hell, I like this better than the return creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield ability, because this is going to have an immediate impact on the board, whereas you have no idea what the graveyard's honestly going to look like. And even if you know what the graveyard looks like, unless any of them have haste or you have the ability to give haste, the creatures can't do anything to turn you, bring them back. So they still give your opponent time to think and counteract what you just did. Whereas this, assuming you've amassed this big enough army, even three other creatures, even 3 other creatures, still, you're pumping them +2/+2, and you're tapping down everything your opponent controls. So you're almost guaranteed, unless they have a fog effect going on, to get the damage in. So between the two, Gideon's the easier to cast, Gideon's the easier to play with, just all around. I go with Gideon over Liliana in this scenario. But anyway, let me know what you think, if you like one or the other better, or if you think they both suck. I think the Gideon's good. I think the Liliana sucks. I like the god. I like the new god. I like a couple of. I like the mechanics we got. I like the overall flavor. I like the art. It just looks like it's gonna be a pretty cool set to go through. But anyway, let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have something you'd like us to review, put it in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, what if, superhero, magic, anything I do on the channel, please put that in the comments below too. I do take your requests. I like to make you guys part of the channel. So I'll be back tomorrow with more magic. I won't be getting until later in the day after I get off work, but I will have more magic up tomorrow for the spoilers. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you folks next time.